One of the questions I get all the time in class is, what is the difference between the ing form and the non-ing form? What is the difference between I am eating versus I eat, or I was eating versus I ate? Today's video will run you through the future, the present, the past, the present perfect, and the past perfect. We're going to start with the present tense. Let's take a look. I am eating muesli. I am talking to you. I am being very rude, but it's good for the grammar. You are listening. You are watching. This is all happening at the moment. It's in progress. It's not finished. So, I eat muesli every day. I talk to people very often. So these two examples are things which happen regularly. You could call them habits or routines. It's used for things which are quite permanent as opposed to things which are temporary. Some key words for the simple present without the ing is sometimes or often, never, occasionally. Just heard my neighbour is hammering at the moment. Perfect timing, right? He's hammering. You hear it? This is at the moment. He's still hammering. He doesn't hammer very often, but today, at the moment, he is hammering. Okay, perfect. Hopefully he stops. Anyway, this is for routines. I eat, I talk, and things at the moment. Now, then I use the ing form. So the present progressive, or the present with the ing, was at the moment. I'm in the middle of something. The future progressive is the same thing, just moved into the future. So at a specific time in the future, I will be in the middle of doing something. For example, every day I eat breakfast from 6:15 until 6:25. So at 6:20 tomorrow, I will be eating muesli. That shows that a specific moment in the future, I will be in the middle of it, not at the beginning. It's not I will start or I will eat. It's I will be eating. That means I've already started and I'm in the progress of doing it. So you could think of an example like, at this time tomorrow, I will be. And then you think about what you will be in the middle of doing, which action you will be in the middle of. So at this time tomorrow, I will be sitting on the train, traveling to Munich. If you talk about the future just with the will and with no ing, the simple form, then you can say things like, tomorrow I will work, tomorrow I will go to the cinema, next week I will travel to Paris, and next year I will be back home for 2 weeks. You're not so specific about the time, and you're definitely not saying I'll be in the middle of it. You just say that I will do it completely, okay? That ing form, the one we just had with I will be traveling or I will be sitting, that's at a specific moment in the future, and you'll focus on the action itself. It's not that common to use the ing form in the future, from my experience, okay? It's better to focus on the I will future, or there's another one called the going to future. So in the past, the progressive, the ing form, works just the same as our last two examples. So remember that I start my breakfast at 6:15 and I finish it at 6:25. I could say, yesterday at 6:20, I was eating muesli. It's again a focus on a specific moment, not in the future, but now in the past. All right? You need that specific moment to focus on what action was happening at that specific moment. Now, we don't always use times when we talk about the past in this way, but you might hear something like this. I was eating my muesli when you came into the room. Or I was playing football when I hurt my leg. So the when gives us the specific time, and then maybe you notice you have the words when you came in or when I hurt my leg. These are the simple forms without the ing, and they give us the so-called interruption or the short action. A classic example that people learn is I was doing my homework when the telephone rang. You've got that combination of I was in the middle of my homework, I was doing my homework when, and now the simple past without the ing is the interruption, when the phone rang. Now when you talk about the past, normally you'll mostly use the simple past without the ing. Yesterday I worked, I came home, I had my dinner, I watched some television, and I went to bed. I don't use any of those ing forms for those examples. But it can make your stories much clearer, and sometimes it's absolutely necessary to be accurate and show what was happening when something else interrupted it. Okay? I have been eating this bowl of muesli for, it feels like 10 minutes. Okay? This started in the past, it comes to the present. The reason I use the ing is that I haven't finished, and the ing is generally used for times. Okay? So I could say I have been living in Germany since 2007. You could say I have been watching this video for however long it is, right? It's something that starts in the past, comes to the present, and there's a focus on the time, all right? Sometimes you won't have time in the example, but I might have some muesli stuck in my teeth or on my lips, and you could say, have you been eating muesli? And then you see the result in the present. That's also a way that you can use the ing in the present perfect. Now, the non-ing form, the simple form, is used more with how much or how many things you have completed in the past. So I could say, today I have eaten like 10 spoonfuls of muesli. I wouldn't say I have been eating 10 spoonfuls. That sounds strange for me. But I have eaten 10 spoonfuls is correct because it's an amount, it's a how much or a how many. So again, basic difference, the ing with the time and the simple, the non-ing with how much or how many. So here we are with the past perfect. The past perfect works just the same as the present perfect, with the ing being more about time and the simple, the non-ing, being more about the amount, how much and how many. These are quite general rules, but I find that they fix most of the mistakes in the class, okay? So I could say, I had been eating my muesli for 10 minutes when the phone rang. I could also say, I had eaten 100 grams of muesli when the phone rang, right? It had happened before the phone rang, or I had been doing it before the phone rang. Again, a time focus and an amount focus, all right? Another example could be, I had been writing emails all morning before I took a break, or I had written 5 emails before I took a break. So the time thing and the amount thing. So that's it for the tenses, but there's one more thing to remember when you talk about ing versus non-ing, and that is that verbs like these ones don't normally use the ing. So for example, I would not say I am having a spoon, I would say I have a spoon. It's at the moment, but it's about possession. And when you talk possession, you don't use the ing, okay? Another example from this list would be, I know what you mean, not I'm knowing what you mean. Or I understand you, not I'm understanding you. Okay? Takes a little bit of time to learn these, but it's very important to know this. So that's it. If you've got any questions, then please put them in the comments. We'll answer them as quick as we can. If you don't already subscribe to the channel, then do it. Then you'll know when the new videos come out. We've also got an Instagram account, so check that out. There's tons of daily tips. Otherwise, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time. If you'd like your own tool that helps you build sentences in different tenses, then click on the link in the description below and get your own 5-column grammar system.